Hello everyone, and welcome to First Baptist Church of Crystal River in our Wednesday evening Fireside Chat. I'm so glad that you joined me this evening. The big news at First Baptist Church of Crystal River was that this past Sunday morning we were able to reopen our campus, and we had church on Sunday at both 9:30 and 11. And that's the first time we were able to do that since March the 15th. So it's been a long time, but it was great to be back in church on a Sunday morning. It was great to see many of you who were able to make it. And I know that others of you, you're just not quite ready to come out, and I understand that. Our county has been very blessed in recent days. We are averaging less than one new coronavirus case each day. So things are improving, but obviously the virus is still out there. So we need to be very cautious, and we need to be safe in what we try to do. So just a few other things as we get started. Now that we're back open, there are actually 4 different ways in which you can give. You can give online at our website, firstbaptistcr.org. Click under the tab called Giving, and you'll get some easy instructions about how to give. And then we will email you a receipt after you have given. You can continue to mail your offering to the church at 700 North Citrus Avenue, Crystal River, Florida 34428. Or now our offices are open. We reopened our offices on June the 1st, and offices are open Monday through Friday. From 8:30 to 3:30, so if you want to drop off your offering as you're out and about, you can do that as well. And again, we are back at church, and we're taking up the offering at the close of the service. We're not passing the plates, but some of the guys are just holding the offering plate, and you can toss your offering in there as you exit each Sunday morning. And speaking of the 2 services, the contemporary service for right now is at 9:30. It's normally at 8:30. But Sunday school right now is only online, and that's normally at 9:45. So we wanted to do these back to back. So contemporary at 9:30, then the traditional service at 11, still in the sanctuary. Also, if you're just not ready to come out yet, we understand, and we're offering everything online. Just like we did in the months of April and May. So you can watch Sunday school online. In fact, Sunday school right now is only online. You can hear the message. We'll have some music. The Wednesday Fireside Chat is only online. And also the children's message is only online as well. So we continue now to do 2 things at once. Campus is open on Sunday, but at the same time, everything is still the same online so that you can watch. Well, tonight I want to talk with you about the difference between social distancing and social isolation. This phrase, social distancing, it's a new term. I'd never heard of it prior to March when people started using that term. But obviously it refers to staying away from people, especially in crowds. Keeping about a 6-foot distance from people, and we're getting pretty used to social distancing. At church on Sunday, we blocked off every other pew in the sanctuary. In Victory Hall, we spread out the rows, and there was at least 6 feet in between each of the rows. If you go to the grocery store and you get in line, there's little circles on the floor, 6 feet apart, and you're to stand there so that we can social distance. So we're getting very familiar with the term social distancing, but it's not the same as social isolation. Social isolation is keeping yourselves from people. It's living your life alone. It's keeping people away from you, keeping everybody either physically or emotionally at a distance from you. And social distancing is necessary right now as we try to stay safe from the virus, but social isolation is never a good thing. In fact, social isolation often leads to depression, anxiety, the lack of motivation. Social isolation is a bad thing. So even though we need to social distance, let's not go that extra step and begin isolating ourselves from people. God created us in such a way that we need people in our life. We are created to operate as a group, as a team, as a family, as a church. So we will social distance, but we need to make sure that we're not socially isolating ourselves from people, because that can lead to all kinds of mental illness. And in fact, in our society today, it's leading to all kinds of issues that people are having. So I want to talk tonight about a story in the Bible that has something to do with social distancing and social isolation. And that's the story of Moses and his father-in-law, Jethro. Jethro comes to visit Moses, and Moses is very excited to explain to his father-in-law how God has gotten the people out of the land of Egypt. They're now free. They're on their way to the promised land. God's blessings are upon them, and things are going wonderful. But the next day, Moses decides to take his father-in-law to work with him. And Jethro observes everything that Moses does. And at the end of the day, Jethro comes to the conclusion that Moses isn't exactly doing it right. Moses is making some mistakes in his leadership. And Moses needs to make some changes in his life. So how does that story play out? Well, you can read the entire story. You can find it in Exodus chapter 18. Verses 13 through 25, but I think I can explain the story by looking at some key verses. So let me begin with Exodus chapter 18, verse 13, where it says, "The next day Moses took his seat to serve as judge for the people, and they stood around him from morning till evening. When his father-in-law saw all that Moses was doing for the people, he said, 'What is this that you're doing for the people? Why do you alone sit as judge? Why all these people stand around you from morning till evening?' Verse 17, Moses' father-in-law replied, 'What you are doing is not good. You and these people who come to you will only wear yourselves out. The work is too heavy for you. You cannot handle it alone. Listen now to me, and I will give you some advice, and may God be with you.' Verse 21, 'But select capable men from all the people, men who fear God, trustworthy men who hate dishonest gain, and appoint them as officials over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. Have them serve as judges for the people at all times, but have them bring every difficult case to you. The simple cases they can decide themselves. That will make your load lighter, because they will share it with you.' Verse 24, Moses listened to his father-in-law and did everything he said. He chose capable men from all Israel and made them leaders of the people, officials over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens." So what does this story have to do with social distancing and social isolation? Well, the heart of the story is Jethro's advice to Moses that he can't do everything on his own. Moses can't become a one-man show. Moses needs people in his life, and so do we. We can't just do everything by ourselves. We need people in our lives. In fact, when you try to lead something alone, you limit the growth of what you're trying to lead to your own abilities. You become the limit of what you're trying to lead. Now, in this case, Moses could only decide so many cases a day. And the number of cases that could happen was limited by Moses' ability to officiate every single case. But if Moses were to appoint other judges, well, then the number of cases that could be heard could double, triple, quadruple, and even more. Moses was limiting the court system by his own lack of ability. He could only do so much. He was his own lid on what was taking place. But if Moses would appoint other leaders, then the court system could grow and more could take place. Pride makes you think that you can do it all by yourself, that you don't need anybody's help. We even have a saying in our culture, if you want it done right, do it yourself. But the problem is God did not create us to do life on our own. It doesn't work to isolate yourself from other people and to do everything alone. You need people in your life. You need the right people in your life. And this evening, I want to talk to you about 3 people that every person needs in his or her life. And the first person that you need in your life, you need some mentors. Now, a mentor is a coach, an advisor. It's someone who knows more about a subject than you do. It's someone who can teach you. Now, in our culture today, we have coaches, advisors for a lot of things. Some people have an exercise coach. They want to get into shape, so the coach is there to encourage them and put them on a plan to help them with their exercises and get into shape. Some people have a dietary coach. This is someone to help you eat the right kinds of food and to lose weight. It's a dietary coach. Some people have a success coach, and many people in business have someone coaching them, especially if they're in business alone, to bring out the best in them and to help them become successful. Some people may even have a spiritual life coach, someone to help them grow in their Christian faith, someone to keep them accountable before God in terms of what they're doing, making sure they're reading the Bible and praying every day. We need a spiritual life coach to bring out the best in us. Now, in this particular story, Jethro becomes a mentor for Moses. Moses is a brand new leader. He's just got the people out of the land of Egypt. They're on their way to the promised land, and Moses is trying to figure out how to lead people. Now, for 40 years, Moses led sheep, and sheep are probably a lot easier to lead than people. So Moses is having some leadership struggles, and Moses is trying to figure this out, and Jethro comes alongside of him as a mentor to help him lead. And I just want to point out some characteristics about Jethro as a great leader. And one is the fact that he was a wise and seasoned leader. Jethro was a leader back in his own country. He had been around the block a time or two. He had learned a thing or two throughout the years, and he was now able to pass that experience and that knowledge on to Moses. So he was a wise and seasoned leader. Also, he was an impartial observer. Jethro was able to take a look at what Moses was doing and come to the conclusion, this isn't going to work. This isn't the right way to do that. And sometimes in our lives, we just need a fresh set of eyes. If we're in the middle of something, trying to figure it out, often we just don't have time to step back, look at what we're doing, and ask the question, is this the right way to be doing things? But an impartial observer can see things immediately that we simply cannot see. It's a fresh set of eyes to help us figure out what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. And also, Jethro was able to share some knowledge, some understanding, and some wisdom. Sometimes Jethro was rather blunt. One day he says to Moses, what you're doing is not good. In other words, Moses, you're not doing this right. You need to make some changes. At other times, Jethro was rather kind. He was trying to explain to Moses that if you'll follow my advice, things will be better for you. Well, let me shift now and talk about Moses. Moses is the learner. Moses is the student. Moses is the disciple. And Moses has some characteristics that make him a great disciple, a great learner. And one is the fact that Moses was humble. When Jethro comes to him and offers advice, Moses doesn't let his ego get in the way. Many times leaders today, when somebody tries to tell them something, we get defensive, we don't want to hear it, and we say something like, you do things your way and I'll do things my way. That wasn't the attitude of Moses. He was a humble man. He was willing to learn. And also, he was teachable. He was willing to listen and try new things. When Jethro said, this isn't working, this isn't the right thing to do, Moses didn't take it personally. He was willing to learn and to make some changes. Also, Moses applied what he learned. In fact, in verse 24, it says, Moses listened to everything his father-in-law said, and he also did everything that his father-in-law told him to do. Some people are willing to listen, but they're not willing to apply. Moses didn't say, okay, Jethro, we'll do it your way until you leave, and then when you're gone, I'll go back and do it my way. No, Moses didn't do that. He was willing to apply what he had learned. And because of that, Moses grew in his leadership. He became a more effective leader. So if you're going to have a mentor in your life, you need to be like Moses. You need to be humble. You need to be teachable. You need to apply what you learn, and that will help you grow in whatever you're trying to learn. So let me ask you, who is the Jethro in your life? Who are your mentors? Who are the people that you follow? And it could be a good friend that you get together with once a week or once a month just to talk about life and how things are going. Or it could be that you learn from those who write books, those who write articles, those who do blogs. And there's just somebody that you go to that every time you read what they have to say, you learn something and you apply it and you grow. So when it comes to difficult situations in life, when it comes to that point when you need some help, who's your go-to person? Who is your mentor? And then number 2, you need some partners. Partners are co-workers, colleagues who share the work with you. These are your teammates in life and in ministry. So instead of trying to do everything by yourself, you've got some partners who are working with you. And Jethro advises Moses that he needs to train up some judges who can share the load with them. There needs to be somebody other than Moses who can decide a court case, who can decide a grievance between two people. Moses doesn't have to hear every case. He needs some teammates. He needs some partners that he can train. And that way the load, the burden can be taken off of Moses' shoulders. Jethro basically says to Moses, you're spending all day long listening to all of these cases. Wouldn't it be great if you only had to hear the most difficult cases? And that could free up your time to do more things, different things. It could expand your horizons. Right now, Moses, you are stuck because you're trying to do it all by yourself. So you need some partners. And I know some of you are thinking, I've had some partners in the past, and they weren't very good. They would drop the ball. They weren't very ethical. I trusted people and I got burned. I'm not sure if I want partners in my life. Well, the key to partners is to choose some good ones. And in verse 21, we have 4 characteristics of what makes a good partner. And the first one is someone who's capable. Moses, when you find a judge, make sure they're capable of deciding cases. Because if you choose someone who's not capable, well, you're just going to have to go back and do their work for them. So choose a capable person. And then second, choose someone who's trustworthy. You're going to hand over part of your responsibility to this person. So make sure you can trust this individual. The third characteristic is make sure this individual is a follower of God, that they fear God, that they reverence God, that they're living their life for God. And then finally, make sure this individual is ethical. Because if you choose somebody who doesn't have ethics, you're going to spend all of your time cleaning up their messes. And you don't want to do that. You want to choose ethical people to be on your team. So when it's time to choose a partner, make sure that person's capable, trustworthy, a follower of God, and somebody who's ethical. So who are the partners in your life? Who are the people who make up your team? Who are the people who are helping you get the job done? And then finally, you need some friends. Friends are people who will love you and support you both in good times and in bad times. If you mess up, a friend will still love you. If other people walk out on you, your friend will stay with you. A friend is just someone who's there for you. Now, as I read the story of Moses, in all of his adventures and all the things that he goes through, I'm often coming to the conclusion that Moses could have used some more friends in his life. When Moses gets upset, when things don't go well for Moses, Moses always goes to God. And that's a good thing. We should always go to God. With our problems, our struggles, whatever we need, we should go to God. But one thing about Moses is he just didn't seem to have any close friends. Somebody to talk to. Somebody who would just listen to Moses. The people were always griping at Moses. And I'm sure that Moses just needed somebody to gripe to every once in a while. And Moses couldn't find that kind of friend. You know, today when people want to rant, when they want to give their opinion, when they want to express their emotions, they often make a post on Facebook. And they just put it all out there in terms of what they're thinking emotionally and what their opinions are. And one of the things is, if you put it out on Facebook and everybody can see it, you're likely to get an argument. Somebody's going to read your post and say, I don't agree with that. You're wrong in what you're thinking. And many of those people, they're not looking for an argument. They're just looking for somebody to listen. If you put it on Facebook, you're going to get an argument. But if you'll just simply tell a friend, then you're going to get somebody who can just listen to you. Somebody to understand you. Someone who's willing to, get into your shoes and find out what's really going on in your life. We need friends who will do that for us. So, who are your friends? Who are the people who love you and accept you unconditionally? Who are the people that you can go to when life is down and just pour out your heart? If you need to share your heart with somebody, who is the person that you call? We need some friends. Whether we're going through a pandemic or whether life is good, we need three people in our life. We need a mentor, we need a partner, we need a friend. We need a mentor because we don't always get it right. We need somebody with more experience that we can go to and just ask a question. What would you do if you were in my shoes? How do you think I should handle this? We need a mentor. Second, we need a partner. We need somebody to share the load. It's difficult if you try to do it all by yourself. It works so much easier if you have partners. This is now Fireside Chat number 12. And I just want to let you know that we're able to do this because I have some wonderful partners who help me do this every week. If all of this was only up to me, we probably wouldn't have any Fireside Chats. So I have some wonderful children who help me with all the technology that's involved in making this happen. And once I get it done, I send it off to Juan. And Juan's the one who puts it on Facebook and YouTube so that everyone can watch it. So this is happening every week because I have some wonderful partners. And we're working together to make it happen. And then finally, we need a friend. We need someone that we can just be real with. Someone that we can just have an honest conversation with. Someone who's going to love us even if they think we're doing it wrong. We need a friend. So you need those three people in your life. You need a mentor, you need a partner, and you need a friend. But at the same time, you can be those people in somebody else's life. You can be a mentor to someone. You can be a partner with someone. Or you can be a friend to another person. We all need those three people, and we can be those people for others in our life. Well, I hope this has encouraged you. Yes, social distance, stay safe, but don't social isolate. You need people in your life. So until we meet again, and we can meet again on campus if you're ready to come out this Sunday. 9:30 is our contemporary service in Victory Hall. 11 o'clock is the traditional service in the sanctuary. Or if you're still not ready to come out, that's okay, because we are back on YouTube and Facebook, and we'll have music, a Sunday school lesson, message, and a children's message as well. So until we meet again, let me encourage you to stay safe, stay connected with people, and God bless you.